morning, Sam Salinas. Thanks for joining us, man. Got a lot to talk about today, man. Yeah, we're going to be talking about a little bit about college football. Going to be talking about some local high school football here in the San Antonio area. We got Jeff Garcia joining us today, so we're going to be talking a little bit about the San Antonio Spurs. It'll be a good day. That's okay, Sam. Somebody called the meeting. Hey, it always happens, man. But you can catch us on the replay. It's going to be up after the show is over on YouTube still. And I'll go ahead and upload the episode on Spotify so you can catch it as a podcast.
What up? What up?
What up, man?
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the beautiful west side of San Antonio. It is hump day. It is Wednesday. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. We're going to have a guest today. We're going to have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. It's one of those days, Joe, where we need to take a step back a little bit.
Yeah.
We had a lot going on, man. Last night, the presidential debate. I was trying to see how many millions of people watched that debate last night.
Did you mark your pet safe from the presidential debate?
Yeah, man. People are like, I wonder what did Daisy get eaten?
Bro, that was wild, man. That was wild.
It was wild. It was so pathetic is what it was. I'm going to go ahead and assume that I'm going to guess 40 million people watched last night.
I think a lot of people watched, man. But
it's not Super Bowl ratings, but I'm thinking it's like, I don't know, NBA Final. No, better than NBA Finals. It's more of an NFL playoff game, not the Super Bowl.
And I was kind of watching it, too. As you know, I had the TV on as I'm working because I work in the evenings. And, in between, us getting these calls and having to make calls and whatnot, help people out, I was listening to it here and there. And I was, okay, I was listening to it. But then I heard that take about the animals getting eaten. I was like, wow, bro.
Yeah, Fox News Channel melted down after the show. I like going on to all the different places to kind of see people's reaction to it all. And Fox News Channel was face-palming the entire time. It was so bad. But
Daisy found her way to Ohio.
Exactly. Thank you, Sam Salinas, for saying that. You know what I noticed? No one in my family gave two craps about Daisy running away.
Really?
And they were like, well, you had 3 dogs. That was too many. Now, again, Daisy ran away last week. I had her for 11 years. I found her, or my ex found her as a runaway. I've kept her this entire time. She ran away again. She always ran away. And this was the first time that she ran away for good,
Yeah.
She was found by somebody, but then she ran away from them. So I hope Daisy's okay. I have a feeling that she's in somebody's home right now because she's a cute dog.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lovable dog. But I have found, though, my house is clean. The shedding is gone.
Yeah.
Duncan and Cody will shed from time to time. But because the weather's getting nicer and it's getting a little bit chillier, my dog, who's a husky, Duncan's a husky, right?
Yeah.
Likes to be outside when it's chilly. So when it got down to 61 degrees, Duncan was walking around the yard like, this is my type of weather. Get it down to 30, baby. But the house is suddenly a little bit cleaner. So at least I got that going for me. Big show today. There goes my hero, Dave Grohl.
Oh, man.
The great line, he's got a confession to make. And he made it yesterday. Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters.
I think he made it on Insta, right? Instagram?
Yeah, known as the nicest man in all of sports. I mean, all of music, rather. He basically admitted to the fact that he has a child out of wedlock.
He sired a child.
That's it. Hey, Joe, can you do me a favor? Can you walk over here and log me into the computer? Because
Yeah.
I am logged out. So we're going to talk about Dave Grohl and the embarrassment that is that. Taylor Swift coming out of nowhere and making an endorsement yesterday, which, is it going to hurt her career? Is this the right thing to do? Had a conversation with a good friend of mine, Anthony Pittman, this morning about it. We were talking about whether or not it's good business to do stuff like that. We're going to talk sports, obviously. Yesterday I was offered good seats to the Texas UTSA game.
Man. You said no.
I was like, nah, mate. I'm not going to drive all the way to Austin to see them get slaughtered. But speaking of the Longhorns, the rankings are out. They're number 2 overall, but the odds of them getting to the playoff, ESPN has released those odds. We're going to get into that. Also, FanDuel has released its odds for who's going to win the Heisman Trophy, and Quinn Ewers top on that list, one of the top ones on that list as well. So we'll get into that as well. We'll obviously talk Spurs with Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. We do sports, we do pop culture, we do nostalgia. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's one of those days, Joe.
Yeah,
one
man.
of those days. By the way, I think I'm going to be doing the shows Friday and Monday on location. Okay, because I have a client meeting in Houston on Monday. So I need to go over there and get done with that. So a little FYI, I'll be out of the building, but I can still do the show. It's just it'll be on remote.
Yeah, on Friday we're going to have Johnny Walker on, correct?
Yeah.
And also on Friday we're going to have Spernandez on too. And we're going to talk about the great night of fights that's going to happen on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big night for fight fans. Whether you're a boxing fan or whether you're a UFC, MMA kind of fan, it's your night.
Yeah, few people know as much about boxing as Fernandez. Fernandez is the kind of guy that wakes up at 3 a.m. to watch Japanese fighting, and I know that star that's out there is worth watching. But it's a good time for sports right now. We're getting into the meat of it all. College football's going, NFL's going, high school football is rocking and rolling right now. Then in October, the week of Halloween, the NBA starts, and then at that point, Joe, we have everything in the world to talk about because we're going to have Wemby coming in.
Don't forget that we're going to also be talking a little bit about Major League Baseball because it's almost that time for the playoff berth coming up shortly here in October.
By the way, article today on ESPN.com saying that the NFL ratings skyrocketed for week 1 this past weekend. In fact, the NFL, according to ESPN, averaged 21 million viewers per game during the league's opening week. It's the most watched week 1 ever. 12% higher than last year.
I was going to say, I think that Sao Paulo game helped over in Brazil.
Could have, yeah.
Because they did it was like a whole week-long festivity that they had. The NFL did. So it wasn't just the game. It was what's leading up to the game. And then they were also showing all the games that were occurring on the weekend. And I think they were even showing the Monday Night Football game as the last event over in Brazil.
And Nielsen ratings coming out saying that 123 million people saw at least part of one game. 123 million people. That's the biggest opening since 2019, the biggest opening of all time. And the most watched game, though, was the first game of the season when the Chiefs won 27-20 in dramatic fashion over the Baltimore Ravens, where the receiver was out of bounds by a toe. I actually enjoy the Peacock Network. I actually enjoy Amazon when it comes to it all. So, we're watching games now on Amazon, Peacock, NBC, ESPN. The games are all over the place, but you know what? The telecasts are good, dude. Fox is doing a good job. CBS is doing a good job. I don't care what channel it's on. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. But, man, 123 million people, dude.
I was going to say, we also got somebody to introduce here, too.
Yeah, what we got?
We got Jeff Garcia that's going to be joining us right now as well.
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5.
Yeah, got him here on the line. He's ready to go.
Jeff, what's going on, my man? How you doing today?
Doing all right, fellas. What's up?
Doing all right.
Jeff?
Dude, do you have any apologies for me? Because you threw me under the bus last night on Twitter.
You get cooked daily. What happened this time?
yeah, I get cooked daily by lots of people, but with friends like you, who needs enemies, dude? You roasted me yesterday on when I was just doing a throwaway joke. It was what do they call it? A callback?
Your W-2s, yes.
Yes. It's called a callback, right? Where you're making fun of a joke that was a joke from years ago or from a long, long time ago or earlier in the movie. And I did that, and you completely roasted me saying,
you know what happened? You know what happened? I remember I tuned in. I think I tuned in coming off of whatever you were talking about.
Yeah.
So the first thing I heard was, I make more money than the people that are watching this show. I was like, what the
No,
hell
I
is
didn't.
going on?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I was talking
Joe.
about the police officers that were holding up Tyreek Hill and they were dragging him out. And I was talking about these jerkwad cops who sometimes, now, first of all, Tyreek Hill, by the way, deserved to be dragged out of that car. He rolled the window back up. It was fully tinted. You couldn't see through it. He was being a jerk to the officers. I was okay with that. That's what I was talking about. I was talking about officers who are very, very.
Well, that's why I let Joe know. I was like, Joe, just correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah,
no, I let the roast continue.
Yeah, you let the roast continue.
Yeah.
You didn't, and I was talking about how a lot of these meathead cops who do break the law, the meathead cops who are, and I say that the bad apples, it's not 2% or 3%. It's like 20-25% of cops are bad apples, in my opinion. And I was basically saying that these are guys that were C students in high school. They were the jocks in high school who were just given a gun and a badge, and they run around like.
Well, they lower the standards to get into the academy now.
Exactly, and then they grow up to be these massive people who can't run more than 5 feet. And I was just basically saying that this is their power trip in life because it's not like they're making any good money.
They're
it's not
still
like they
roasting
have love.
you in the chat.
And
man.
I was like, you know what? So I was referring to them. I said I'm just glad that I make more money than those asses.
And look at this. Midtown Texas comes in right on cue. Rules are for poor people, Mike.
He's not talking about me. He's talking about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, who's like doesn't want to follow rules. Now, I'm not the kind of guy who's like, hey, man, every officer is there for a good reason. I'm not. But Tyreek Hill, when Tyreek Hill rolled out his window, and then the officer's talking to him, and he rolls it back up, what did you think was going to happen? And then he starts arguing, why are you knocking on my window? Because you're being pulled over, idiot. By the way, it's reported that he was going a little bit more than 60 miles per hour in a 40. And it was called speeding and reckless driving. Okay.
How did they get him out of the car? Did they open up the door and drag him out?
Yeah, they opened the door
and it opened like a DeLorean. It didn't even open out. Like
I think he was driving a Lamborghini.
Yeah, the door kind of came upward, and they dragged him out. And then he starts screaming, I had knee surgery. And then for him to score a touchdown and then pretend like he was being arrested, and then you see Robert Griffin III and all of these like ESPN commentators say, you see, this is what it's about when it comes to police brutality and all that stuff. No.
You know what they don't show on all these videos?
I agree with that. I agree with that, dude. When it comes to George Floyd, when it comes to all of these other people, I agree. When it comes to Tyreek Hill was being a jackass, and all he did was talk the entire time. What did he think was going to happen?
Yeah, but they don't show the whole video on, the 4-letter networks and whatnot. They just show him being dragged out, but they don't show what happened. The lead up to that. Yeah. They omit that. Well, anyway, we're going to be talking about San Antonio Spurs basketball because this is what I brought Jeff on the show for. Jeff has some lead stories he's going to lead off with. He's going to let us know what's the skinny on what's going on with all things silver and black. Jeff, what's going on?
Sir, let's start off with the first one. If you're in Del Rio, listen up. Rookie Stephon Castle is going your way very, very soon. He announced that there's going to be a meet and greet with him in Del Rio, Texas. And I'll get the details here for you. On Monday, September 16th from 5:30 to 6:30 in the evening. It's going to be at the Toyota Del Rio. So if you're in Del Rio right now, here's your chance to meet up with him. The flyer says people that go will get a free autograph poster of him. Get a chance to win 50 free basketballs, and of course, snap a photo with him and maybe chat with him about the upcoming season. So if you're in Del Rio, here's your chance to meet a member of the Spurs. Also, Castle was at the White House. He and his UConn Huskies visited the White House recently to celebrate their NCAA title. So he and Donovan Clingan got to present Biden with a UConn jersey, and from the spoils of winning that title, and there you have it. What else we got cooking in Spurs world? Well, here's interesting, and Joe's gonna love this one. If you have a autographed basketball card of Victor Wembanyama from the Topps 2024 Chrome Pack, Golden Auction House is asking you all to give them the cards that you find, and they'll put it up for auction, and whatever they net, you return, which is pretty good because they can do free grading, free placement of your card on their auction site. And if you get it, hey, you can get yourself some good bucks there. Also, Gorgie Dang, he is now the new assistant GM with the Austin Spurs. So the Spurs announced several movements there, but the big one was Gorgie. He is now an assistant GM with the Austin Spurs. So that's a quick little nutshell.
Yeah, Gorgie was always loved by Spurs players.
So
his teammates. By the way, if you want to show my screen real fast, Joe, this is a photo of Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan, and the rest of the Yukon Huskies with Joe Biden.
Current President
Joe Biden, number 45 or 46, whatever number he is. But yeah, this was over at the White House. That was pretty cool, man. And the idea that you can go out and meet Stephon Castle. If I was in town on Monday, I probably would have made my way to Del Rio to show him my Stephon Castle jersey. I would have gotten it signed, man.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Stephon Castle jerseys walking around right now, man.
You have both versions, right? The white and the black one. Remember the one time you were on Lockdown Spurs? You had them both, or am I bringing that up?
Yeah, I got the black one.
You have the black one.
I was gonna get the white one. Haven't gotten it yet.
That's what I thought you did. Yeah,
haven't gotten it yet, but I'm excited about it. Going to be rocking it on game one. Don't get me wrong, I have my Wemby jersey and all that stuff, but I got to rock the Stephon Castle because he's my son. He's my son.
We have a new Lockdown Spurs dropping in about an hour, give or take. It's going to be with my colleague at Ken's 5, Casey Vieira. We're asking, and we'll get your thoughts on this, guys. Where does Sissoko fit on this roster?
He doesn't.
That's the topic today. Look at the roster now, and he's kind of like almost like forgotten because Wemby and CP3 and KJ and Vassell and Barnes and even fans go at Collins. The point is that he's one of those guys on the roster. You're like, oh yeah, he's on there. Oh right. So we're asking, where does he fit? We look at his projected per 36 numbers, which aren't too bad, but we talk about that and then get some Spurs fan comments. A lot of fans right now are still going at Shaq for what he said about Wemby not being dominant because he shoots jumpers. Can you imagine that? Imagine you have a complete game and you can't be dominant.
Right.
Yeah, that's Shaq, man. Now, he hates everything San Antonio.
Now going to
well, I think Joe cooked Shaq a few times on Lockdown Spurs when we talked about it.
Yeah.
Now City Sissoko, going back to City Sissoko, I like him, right? He's an injury away from being a big part of this team, potentially a big part of this team. So I think City Sissoko needs to be there and be ready to go when somebody gets hurt. If a Devin Vassell gets hurt, if a Keldon Johnson gets hurt, and he can take some minutes because he plays small forward. He's 6'8". He has good wingspan. He has a great motor on him. He showed some levels of proficiency in Austin. He showed the ability to drive the ball, to be a floor general from time to time. He can rebound. The guy's a good free throw shooter. I mean, he can shoot pretty decently. I like City Sissoko. So when I say that he has no place on the team, what I'm saying is that he's at the end of the bench. He would need something to happen. Because I don't think he's going to earn the spot into the second rotation. He's not going to get into rotation
off the bat.
Yeah, he needs someone to get hurt in front of him. A Harrison Barnes, a Sohan, a Vassell, a Keldon. He needs somebody with getting major minutes to get an injury to go up there and get it. Or he's the guy that comes in when a player's getting rested.
Sam Salinas took the words right out of my mouth. Trade bait.
What did he say?
Trade bait.
Yeah, that's possible.
At the end of the day, he's a second-round pick who was drafted number 44 overall. So
and
you're not going to get anything for him.
If he goes, he goes. What are you going to get? Yeah. Maybe a pick. How they like picks here. The Spurs like picks. Brian Wright loves his picks. Maybe they get a pick out of him.
You're going to get another second rounder for him because he has no bona fides yet. Talking to Jeff Garcia.
What's it going to be? A second rounder in 2032 or something?
We're picking up picks for seventh graders.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we're talking about Shaq right now, kind of low key bagging on Wemby. What anybody else notice? And this is brought to my attention that a lot of former players now are kind of still bagging on even Tim Duncan. You had Dwight Howard said that Tim Duncan was an easier matchup versus Kevin Garnett. Okay. Then same Dwight Howard calls Tim Duncan baby food because he said he used to own him in the paint. Then you had Gilbert Arenas, Nick Young saying that Duncan was just overrated. Is it just me that these former players just coming out trying to just bag on him?
Well, what did they ever do? Some of these players,
Yeah, and who was the player that was in front of them that prevented them from winning?
Exactly.
It was Tim Duncan. It's sour grapes.
Yeah, they're salty, man. They just want to be relevant now that they're retired, and they go to either on a live stream or a podcast, say outrageous stuff, because you know what? At the end of the day, Jeff, it's just pure entertainment. They're talking heads that want you to go ahead and click on their content, go ahead and subscribe to their, channel on YouTube or whatever. It's like throw money at them because, they need it now in retirement. But I mean, it's just entertainment. That's what these guys do. They get together, they entertain. Some of them make sense. Others are just talking nonsense.
Yeah. And part of it is ratings.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
You want to have that quote that's going to get you clicks and views on TikTok or whatever the case may be. And the fact of the matter is that Tim Duncan is an easy target because he ain't going to fight back.
He don't talk. He doesn't even go on social media.
He doesn't care.
Exactly. He's living life, dude.
He doesn't care. Just simply doesn't care.
He's spending time with his family. He's probably working on a car somewhere at his blackjack speed shop.
And hanging with Vanessa Macias and their kids.
He's winning.
Yeah.
He's winning in life.
Yeah. He doesn't give two craps because at the end of the day, the dude's got 5 rings. At the end of the day,
exactly.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer and considered a top 10 player.
This is my pedigree. 5 rings.
Yeah. Kevin Garnett can say anything he wants. And I think the problem with Shaq is that Shaq hates the fact that in his playing time, he's not considered to be the best big man of the time. The best big man of that era was, in fact, Tim Duncan. And everyone agrees. There's very few people who come out and say that Shaq was better than Tim Duncan. Very few people who would ever come out and say that.
And when they went head-to-head, Tim Duncan usually won that battle. And not only that, but Tim Duncan also bested the Lakers on more than one occasion and stopped their playoff run.
And Tim Duncan played for just one team, whereas Shaq had to go
Miami,
Phoenix, Boston, LA,
even the
Cleveland,
Cavs. Yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah. So I mean, that's the failure of the end of his career. He didn't get to leave on his own terms the way that Tim Duncan did.
Yeah, sour grapes, man.
Yeah. Hey, I think I heard y'all talking about the streaming services, about the NBA. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that too, Jeff.
Actually, I was going to ask Joe about this. Joe, why is this a big deal? I mean, you're pretty good about tech and apps and all that stuff. What's the big deal with these streaming services? Like, why can't they just leave it alone? It's fine the way it's working right now. Why does it get all complicated?
Streaming services are jockeying for position to set themselves up for the future because they know that everybody's cutting the cord now. Nobody's really going to direct TV with the satellite on their roof. They're doing direct TV stream. They're not getting Spectrum cable a lot anymore. It's just kind of fading away. Everything is going to the streaming services, Hulu, Fubo, whatever's out there. That's what people are doing to go ahead and get their sports content. Even the Max, HBO Max, what did they do? They inked a deal with Bleacher Report Sports so they could go ahead and show the NBA games that were being played on TNT, and that was free for fans. I believe it was last year. I don't know if it's going to be the same for this year. But one of the big announcements that came out is Amazon inking a deal with Bally Sports. So Bally Sports, to no one's surprise, they're kind of in disarray right now. They're not able to pay,
but Joe,
the teams.
They're coming back, though. Did you hear about that?
I heard. Yeah. They're coming back. So here's the thing. Bally Sports kind of on life support. They filed for bankruptcy. They weren't able to pay the teams the agreed upon money. Some of these teams have left Bally Sports so they could go ahead and, either they're going to show the games on their own streaming services or whatnot, or like the Mavericks. They inked a deal out with Tenga so they could go ahead and show all their games on local TV for free. That's forward thinking.
But how did the Mavericks get away with that? Like, it's like the Mavericks are getting around of everything.
They're getting around a loophole because they actually made a deal with their local sports, local channel. So go ahead and show their games, which is, again, forward thinking. Because it's not always about the money. It's more about getting that viewership, getting those ratings up, and once you do that, you're making lifelong fans. They're going to want to go and buy the merch. They're going to want to go buy the tickets because, hey, the Mavericks are the people's team,
They would rather lose one stream of income in order to provide a better product. And they have other streams of income. They have other advertising revenue sources and whatnot.
Yeah, but I was going to get back to the Bally Sports thing. What's happening now with Amazon is this new deal that they've inked with Bally Sports. I know Mike isn't a fan of the Bally Sports app. I'm not either. A lot of other sports fans hate it, but there's no other way for us to watch the San Antonio Spurs play other than through Bally Sports. So what Bally Sports and Amazon have done is Amazon went ahead and inked that deal so they can go ahead and show the Bally Sports package, regional sports package, whatever it might be. It could be the Texans, not Texans, the Rangers.
Rangers.
It could be the Houston Astros. It could be, San Antonio Spurs, stuff that's happening regionally. And they're going to show these games now on Amazon. So that before everybody gets excited, this deal is not free. You're still going to have to pay to get the Bally Sports Plus on Amazon. So whatever you're paying right now, it's probably going to be the same, but you're going to already have Amazon Prime. Now I'm just going to add that Bally Sports package to it, probably going to be another $20, $25. But that's not going to happen until sometime next year. This year, you're still going to have to pay Bally Sports to go ahead and watch your regional sports coverage. But that's what's going to happen, because a lot of Spurs fans had questions. What's going to happen? How is this going to all line up? You can read it specifically on the Bally Sports announcement page, and I'll show that too. I mean, it's up here for grabs if you want to go ahead and check it out. All I did is go to help.ballysports.com, and it gives you everything in detail as far as what the deal entails. Yeah. So basically, that's the skinny on what's happening.
Like the fans are going to be paying for this service and that service and this and league. It's
getting expensive. That's what happens when you cut the cord. Everything's not just there in one sports package, because it's getting very expensive. Our good friend Tim Gonzalez, he's a casualty, and says some of the other fans that watch, sports fans that watch us here every day, they're still not able to get ESPN. They're not able to watch anything on ABC. Because DirecTV is not carrying those channels right now because they're in a dispute with the House of the Mouse, and that doesn't look like it's going to go away anytime soon. So who's going to go ahead and be the loser in that end? The consumer.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I look at it and I see all these streaming services, and it does add up to prices, right? I mean, we're watching the NFL on Peacock and Amazon. We're watching them on Fox and CBS and ESPN, all that stuff. To me, I just want to have a good experience. I'd rather have a good experience and pay an extra couple of bucks, and I know not everybody can, but I'd rather have a good experience and pay a couple extra bucks as opposed to having a bad experience and get it for free. Watching these games on Bally, when they was on Time Warner or whatever streaming service that there was trash. Bally Sports is basura. It is horrible experience. It's a terrible app. And I cannot wait for them to go under, because they deserve to go under. It's a bad product. It's also owned by Sinclair, which is typically a bad product to begin with. So I'm not a big fan of it all. I think that the Dallas Mavericks should be commended for keeping their fans in the forefront and having their fans be front of mind when it comes to it all. But then again, it's a richer team. It's a bigger market. They can afford to do stuff like that. They can afford to wiggle out of contracts. I'm sure there was a stipulation in there that says if you're unable to do X, Y, and Z, we can bail out. And like you said, if Bally Sports wasn't paying what they were supposed to be paying, they didn't keep up their end of the bargain either.
They did not.
By the way, Jeff, switching gears, I'm on FanDuel.com right now.
Yeah.
Did you know that on the NBA betting odds, there's a whole page called Wemby Specials?
Yeah. Actually, I heard about that. That's not new. That everybody I think is new. Last year on DraftKings, they had the exact same thing.
Right.
It was called like the. I think you brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
You did. So this is not new. Fans are acting like, oh my God, no, it's not. This has been going on for a long time.
Well, the DraftKings one was like 5 or 6 bets, right? It
had a whole page, Jimenez.
Oh, okay. Well,
it was an entire page of the points and and the quad dubs and the triple dubs. It was like pretty much what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, so I'm looking right
But-
now.
but DraftKings had it, though.
Quadruple double. Now there's only been 4 in the NBA and 3 were by Spurs. Right? Tim Duncan had one. Well, David Robinson had one. Alvin Robertson had one, I believe. Who was the last
Hakeem-
one?
Hakeem had one.
Hakeem had one.
And Nate Thurmond.
So in order to have a quadruple double rather, 15-1 odds. All right, 15-1. If Wemby's going to score 50 points in a game, you're only getting plus 130. I'd stay away from that one.
Oof.
Yeah.
60
What,
points in a game.
what was the line again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that one.
Plus 130, 1.3-1 odds. You bet $100, you profit 130 if he gets 50 in a game. It's 25-1 odds if he gets 60 in a game. How about this one, Jeff? 18-1 odds. So you bet $100, you profit 1,800 if Wemby gets 6 triple doubles this season.
Ooh! I'm gonna take it.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah, I'm taking that one.
Only 6?
6 or more.
Only 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
6 or
exactly.
more.
That's my
Okay.
thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 6 or more. Yeah, I think he had 4 last year. I think he had 4 trip dubs.
And that was his rookie season. That's the
Yeah.
worst version you're ever going to see of him, man.
18-1 odds. I like it. Jeff.
I would take that.
How about
one
this
too.
9-1 odds that he'll have 12 or more blocks in one game?
Taking
Ooh,
it. Taking it.
that's a good one.
How about this
he
one?
He added more size. He added about 4 to 8 pounds, so I think that'll help.
How about
Kinda
this?
body people?
How about this one? If Wemby makes 10 or more 3-pointers in a single game,
Oh, man.
22-1 odds. 22-1 odds.
Oh, man. I love me some
Oh, yeah,
Wemby, but
yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah, he's streaky.
I like it. I like a lot of it. Again,
You
DraftKings.
would take that one?
The
you would
one,
take the 3-point one?
I like the triple double one, and I like the 10 3-pointers in a game. There'll
Did you
be
read the quad dub one?
the quadruple doubles 15-1 odds
15-1 odds. He got close
twice.
3 times last.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times.
Twice.
Yeah. And it was
Oh,
towards the end of the
man.
season. I like it.
Eesh. He's got to get at least 1, right? This year, I mean,
Yeah, he has to. man.
1 is coming.
You know what? We're going to switch gears here, and we're going to talk a little bit about our nerd talk, Jeff, because we got to pour some out, man, for the great James Earl Jones. Rip Darth
yes,
Vader,
thank
man.
you.
And Splinter, the voice of Splinter, died.
Oh, I saw
Yeah,
that too.
the voice of the OG Splinter passed away.
Man,
So it was a rough night. Things come in 3. Hopefully that it doesn't end. Hopefully it ends and that doesn't come true.
yeah, man. But we
But,
lost a good one in James Earl Jones. I mean, we don't
Did you
have
see-
the voice anymore. You know, the original voice. We're going to have it for years to come because he inked a deal with Disney, but
Right.
we're losing that. Mufasa, you know, who could forget that? I mean, come on.
CNN voiceover.
I know, man.
The CNN, yeah, people forget that he was a CNN voiceover.
King Jaffe and Coming
Yeah.
to America.
Yeah, and then his role, I always forget the name, but his role as a villain in Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah, with Arnold
he had
Schwarzenegger.
he had that great speech.
Field of
when he-
Dreams.
Yeah, Phil
That
the
one
Green.
The
too, yeah.
Sandlot. Lot?
You know, he was low key kind of funny. Like he could deliver, some deadpan lines.
That's what I was telling
so-
Mike. He did the top 10 on the David Letterman show one time, and it was pretty
Yeah,
funny,
he did
dude.
that. Yeah, and then really, really good. I wanted him, to be the voice of Unicron in Transformers '86.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he'd be great, but I mean, look, Orson Welles is not that bad either, who played the voice of Unicron. He was just, that voice. It was just undeniable. You knew who it was right away. And not only did we lose the voice of Vader, we lost the guy in the armor, the physical actor,
The original.
David Prowse. Yeah, David Prowse. He passed away. So literally every part of Vader is done. Well, technically not. Knock on wood. Hayden Christensen's still around. So
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? Now that when we see that OG scene from Return of the Jedi, where Luke is putting Darth Vader's body on that pile of wood
yeah,
and then
for
burning
real.
it, dude, that's going to have a different feel now, man.
It definitely is, yeah. But I love what my adopted city of New York did. They put Darth Vader's picture on the Empire State Building. I thought that was really cool.
Man, I bet you if you were still there, you would have walked over there to take a picture.
Man, I would have taken the number 7 train to Times Square. I knew exactly where that building was.
Yeah, be wearing your
And,
Darth Vader shirt.
If you can show my screen, Mark Hamill posted on Instagram a photo of him with
James Earl.
James Earl Jones. saying one of the world's finest actors whose contributions to Star Wars were immeasurable. He'll be greatly missed. R.I.P. Dad.
Man.
I was watching an old interview of Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, talking about the fact that he had to keep the secret that Darth Vader was the dad.
Yeah.
And that even the other actors were unaware of it. And that it was kind of like the secret reveal. Do you think that secret reveal could have existed in the year 2024? I mean, back in 1977, there was no social media, right? 2024,
Right.
No way that secret's held. No way.
Well, I'll give you a little hint. Well, not a hint, but kind of a cool little trivia thing about the whole, Darth Vader father thing. So, Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vader. Well, let me start over again. The people in Germany
Knew
because Vader is a word for father in German. So
Yeah.
that's a line from Pitch Perfect.
It is.
When Becca is talking to Jesse and Jesse's trying to show her Star Wars for the first time.
Yeah.
And she's like, that wasn't a surprise. Vader means father in German.
Yeah, well, it's spelled differently. It's spelled with a T instead of a D.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it was pretty close. So everybody kind of knew it in Germany. And then what was the other thing? I think James Earl Jones as well. He didn't know till the last minute that they switched out the scripts for him.
But his voice is what made Vader that imposing presence, and one of the best villains, should I say, to ever grace the silver screen.
Yeah, he was. I mean, his first appearance, he's coming. Well, back in '77, it was coming out of a smoke cloud, with the big old black cape and the samurai helmet and the skeleton mask, and a lot of people were scared. A lot of kids were like, "Whoa, what the H is that?"
Yeah.
So that's it. But we'll still remember him, and from Rogue One. It wasn't just the three in the '70s and the '80s. He did the voice in Rogue One. He did the voice. He even did the animated voice in Rebels. That was James Earl Jones doing the Darth Vader voice in Rebels. And he just lent his voice to everything, even in Ahsoka. And so, I always wondered. I always wanted to ask him, like, how was he able to see or at least voice Vader as Vader got more diabolical? Because remember,
menacing.
Remember in the Kenobi series, he had to voice Vader snapping a little kid's neck.
Yeah.
They showed it. I was shocked that Disney showed that.
Yeah.
But so I just wanted to I wish I could ask him that. Rest in peace.
I was going to tell you,
James
Mario
Earl Jones.
Cavazos has a question for you, because I know our time here is coming to an end. He says, Jeff, what panel will you be hosting on the Big Texas Comic-Con? Cobra Kai?
All
Question mark?
So I'll give you two of them that I can talk about. I can't talk about the other ones yet. So I will be doing the Sons of Anarchy one. So I'll be doing the Sons of Anarchy panel and the 40th anniversary reunion of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 90s movie.
Nice.
Hey,
So,
maybe you can give me
that-
some tickets to that. I want to go see you do that. Host a panel of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You know what? I should be able to hook you up. But just get my list going to them.
Yeah.
But
Because I'm free on weekends now, Jeff, so I can make it this time.
well, I bet, yeah, exactly. I think I invited you a couple times. You just
Yeah.
couldn't make it.
I was
Yeah.
working on Saturdays and Sundays, but
That's
now I have
right,
them
yeah.
off.
Yeah. What was your question again?
Oh, no, they were just asking, like, what panels you're going to be hosting, and you let us know right there.
Yeah, I think because it's already out there, so I think I can talk about this one. I think I'm doing the Cobra Kai one as well.
Oh, great,
So
man.
that's the one that I'm nervous about, not because it's Cobra Kai and the little kids, but because of Ralph Macchio and I always forget the guy's name that plays Johnny. Those two guys, because I'm like,
Zabaka?
oh my God, yeah, Zabka.
Zepka, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, these are the two guys that I grew up watching in the '80s. Karate Kid. I mean, my goodness.
I actually met
So
them
what-
in real life. They were here at a
Nice.
convention one time in San Antonio. It was like
yeah?
a horror con, yeah, and they had them there.
What were
And
they doing there at a horror con?
yeah, they were just there, dude. They were there with a whole bunch of other people, and this was long before Cobra Kai, right? So I went over there, and we were there, getting interviews because we're there as members of the media. And we went up to them and asked them to do a quick interview, and they did, which I still have the interview saved. They were both great guys, man. I got to tell you,
Yeah.
man. And we were talking to Johnny too, like sweep the leg, Johnny. He goes, yeah, man, I get that, asked that all the time. And he's like, I just love it, that the fans still remember that. And that's the favorite, saying that he always encounters all the time when he meets fans. He was a great guy, man. I got to meet a whole bunch of people there. I got to meet some of the cast members from The Walking Dead, which were great. And then we also got to do an interview with Ian Ziering, because at that time, that's when they had Sharknado going on. That dude was super cool, man. Like, no trouble. Went right up to him and just let him know what outlet we were reporting for. And he's like, sure, man, let's do it. And he just talked to us, man. I was like, I'm here with Ian Ziering from Beverly Hills 90210, just chilling out, talking with the guy. Yeah, it was surreal.
It's very surreal. The most memorable panel I ever hosted was the Mandalorian panel last year for Big Texas. And it was just weeks later where Carl Weathers passed away. So I have photos of me and Carl Weathers on the stage. I have him doing a selfie with me. And then, of course, I have a picture of me sitting across from him as he answers a question. Could have fooled me that, he was having some fading health. He would look still strong and big. And my favorite memory with him was he's a diehard Lakers fan, but I got him to say "Go Spurs, go."
There you
he
go.
Reluctantly did it. He was like gritting his teeth because I'll do it for the fans, and then he right in front of everybody goes "Go Spurs, go," and the whole place erupted.
Now, is there is the Comic-Con that we're talking about here? What date is that one that you're going to be doing, Jeff?
The Comic-Con.
That's it. That's Big Texas Comic-Con. That's coming up next month.
Okay,
in October.
If you want to show my screen of all the different people that are going to be out there, we have been talking about Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka, Hannah Kemple, Peyton List, basically half the cast of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Well,
Daredevil's going to be there as well as the Punisher, the actors.
J.D. Pardo's going to be there. Steve Burns, Blue's Clues, will be there. Very nice.
And I get this question a lot, so I can tell y'all right now. As of right now, John Bernthal and Charlie Cox, Daredevil and Punisher, they're not doing a panel.
Okay.
People asking me, are they going to do a panel? Because the reason why people want to know because they want to cosplay as one of them. So what kind of a cool way to get the attention of the actors is to cosplay as one of their characters, and they'll likely chat with you longer. So that's why fans do that.
Sean Astin and Elijah Wood will also be out there.
And the great, what's his name? John Davies, dude. I'm going to go check him out, too. This is the trifecta, dude. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, I got to take a picture with them.
Now, is this the first time, Jeff, that you could look at a Comic-Con coming to San Antonio where there's an A-list of celebrities? I know we've had some big names come out. I know we had Ben Affleck recently, and we've had
Ben Affleck
a handful of names. But it's like it's always a big name and then a lot of C and D list celebrities. I'm taking a look at this, and it seems to be a lot more well-rounded of a cast of celebrities coming over here. Because I will look at who's going to the Houston Comic-Con and the Dallas Comic-Con, and they always outshadow or the San Antonio's whatever events that we have here. I'm actually pretty impressed with the lineup they have here.
No, it's a great lineup. It's really nice, and I think they're swinging the 1,000. They're batting 1,000 right now.
Yeah.
So because of the guests they got, it's going to be a great time there. It's not just the panels. There's the vendor alley, which will just decimate your wallets.
Oh, that's going to decimate your wallet. Mike's always calling you money bags, but you're going to be like, dang, man, I'm going to come out with a whole bunch of merch now.
I was at San Japan, and my goodness, I walked into the vendor alley and oh, no. No.
And if you're doing Sons of Anarchy, that's Emilio Rivera, right? It's going to be one of those. He was on my old show back in the day. He's from San Antonio. Emilio Rivera grew up near.
You got me out there for real, or are you just making that up?
No, he was on my old show. He and Edward James Olmos were on my old show on San Antonio Sports Star over in Super Bowl Radio Row because he was doing what's that other the spinoff of Sons of Anarchy? What was it?
The Mayans
X
MC
Mayans MC. So he was talking about how he grew up near Las Palmas.
Get out!
Nope, kidding. Not kidding at all.
Oh, you're right. Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Born in San Antonio.
Yep. The West Side, Las Palmas, West Commerce area. General McMullen, that area. That's where he grew up. So that's where we kind of bonded because I was telling him, I was like, man, I went to a church growing up on Jewett Street, which was off of West Commerce.
Yeah.
in McMullen, that area right there. And he was like, "Oh man, I went up to Las Palmas," and I was like, "Yeah, San Fernando Cemetery is right across the street." And we were all kind of bonding all that. Yeah, so he's from San Antonio. So a little FYI.
Nice, man.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And then it's not only that. I mean, my book, my schedule for comics-based stuff is booked. It's first one up is Big Texas. And then coinciding with that, I'm hosting the Sci-Fi Film Festival. And I think everybody should go to this one because it's going to be for short films, sci-fi based, but they're going to be honoring the directors that are from that have Hispanic heritage. So it's only going to be limited to that. So I think I'm just opening night. I'm doing the hosting duties, and then the rest of the weekend they're on their own. Then I'm doing Kawakan for the second year in a row. That one's hardcore anime, and this is one like Jimenez. You could probably get away with going to Big Texas and kind of have an idea what's going on.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You go to Kawakan, you'll probably be lost because this is hardcore anime, Japanese.
And I don't know if you know this. My daughter is big time into anime. Ava is huge into anime.
Oh, I didn't know that about
she has 6 katanas.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, you did tell me.
She has 6 katana swords hanging in her room right now. She's got all this Asian and anime shirts and posters all over her wall. That's all I hear when I go by her room.
You should tell her. I think I tried to tell her last time I was on your show, or this show, I should say, Jimenez. I think she was in the background, and I was like, hey, let her know that so-and-so, the voice actor, does a promo for Locked On Spurs. So I have the American voice actor that does an anime. It's very, very popular. Very, very popular. He comes on and goes, hey, I'm Zach Aguilar, voice of Tanjiro, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs. And I played that one time for a guest, and then the guest came back to me. He said, hey, my kids are also anime fans, and I played it for them, and they're freaking jealous right now that you already get the voice actor of that guy to do it. So but no, it's going to be a great time. Just come out if you can. Big Texas, Kawakan, the Sci-Fi Film Festival that's happening kind of at the same time as Big Texas, but it's going to be Nerd City soon in San Antonio.
Very nice.
I'm looking forward to that. So Jeff, before we let you go, man, where can they follow you on the X?
You got it. Yeah. Well, first of all, subscribe to Locked On Spurs YouTube. We crossed 5,000. So I appreciate you and Jimenez pushing it to get larger. So I'm very happy about that. Yes, Locked On Spurs is finally going back to 5 a day very soon. Not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to that at all. It's going to be back to 5 a day. But yeah, we got Locked On Spurs dropping in a few minutes. Articles left and right on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And hopefully, don't forget, this past week we had Joe on. Joe was on the Monday show. Go back and listen to Joe cooking Shack. Trying to get Jimenez, but Jimenez is Mr. I don't answer calls anymore.
Oh,
I'm big timing you.
I'm big timing. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Hey dude. Jeff, maybe we could go celebrate you passing the $5,000 mark, maybe on like a Friday or something, and go into bar 1919.
We all come out to the Big Texas night.
Hey,
and afterwards,
Tony O'Donnell wants to know when are you going to arm wrestle Mayor Ron?
Man, I got him. I reached out to his press office. They never heard back. I'm trying to get him on Locked On Spurs. I think he'll do it. But I'm trying to get him again before his tenure is over. Right? 'Cause this is it for him, right? He can't be mayor anymore.
Yeah, it's his tenure's over. But he's a busy guy. Just from experience, when I would go in there and he would lend us like 10 or 15 minutes when it was me and Taro going to visit him and talking sports and just chit-chatting with him. It was a very controlled, time frame that we had with him because he had meetings and all these other things he had to do. But he really did enjoy just, that little bit of downtime, just talking to us and, telling us, what's going on with the city and talking sports and all that. We got to see that side of Mayor Ron Nierenberg. He's a great guy, man.
Did you just walk in?
Oh, no, it was something that was already done ahead of time. I mean, I'm telling you, man, when Taro comes into town, me and Taro have had some adventures, man. We get into places we got no business going. And me and Taro just have a great time, dude.
That's awesome, man. But no, so lots going on. Spurs season's right around the corner. What are we, about a little over a month now still?
About a month and a half.
Yep.
40, 41, I think, days now.
Nice.
41 days, yeah.
Very
yeah,
nice.
and by the way, for those y'all wondering, y'all really, really, really want to stick to my ex this weekend. Just gonna put it out there.
Very
Can't give it
nice.
away, but something's gonna be happening this Saturday. So stick to X at Jeff G Spurs Zone.
Very cool. That's Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Cans 5. Thanks for being with us today, my man.
Appreciate you, Jeff.
You're the man. I owe you a few drinks still. I owe you a few drinks.
Just a few.
Just a few. I've chipped away at it. For a while there, I owed him a lot.
Yeah.
And now it's just a handful that I owe him when it comes to drinks. But Jeff's a really, really good guy. We talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia over here. I know we need to talk a little bit about college football because we did quote that, or we did promote that.
Yeah.
You show me the fan duel, if you will, or the odds of the Heisman Trophy. How's that looking?
I'll show you that. Well, before we do, let's go ahead and give some love to Jeff since we just let him go.
Sure.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Can I have a proud dad moment real fast?
Go ahead. You going to show some on screen?
I'm going to see if I can find it on screen
Okay.
real fast. My daughter, Gabby, is a journalist there in Baton Rouge. And Baton Rouge right now is about to get hit by Hurricane Francine. And my daughter has been posting stories today about how she's the front page writer for the Advocate. And so it's so great just to have a daughter who's so successful. This hurricane's coming on shore, 90 to 100 mile per hour winds. It's going to land somewhere between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. It's going to come offshore probably in the next 2 hours or so. My daughter is writing articles about how you can get help, where you can go for this, that, and the other, and alerting the people of Baton Rouge and the surrounding parishes. I'm very, very proud of my daughter. And she's sending me, she's posting photos on her social media. Unfortunately, you don't follow her on social media, so it's kind of hard to see. But she's posting these photos of her articles where she's front page doing all of this stuff, and I'm just really proud. I as a dad, dude, it's just, I was a journalist for
rewarding.
I was a journalist for 10 years, and she's as good as I ever was. And she's just 21 years old, man.
That's great.
It's amazing. It's 9/11 right now. And we'll go back to sports in a little bit, but it's 9/11 right now. 23 years since the terrorist attack that killed about 3,000 people in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania, I believe was the other place. I remember where I was when it happened. I was at home. I lived in an apartment called Mission Ranch Apartments on Babcock and Medical. And it was a brand new apartment complex, and I was living with my girlfriend at the time. She became my first wife, Gabby's mom. And I remember my ex calling me and saying, Michael, there's an attack on the World Trade Center. And I didn't think anything of it. I was asleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, they've done that before. Now, she kept calling me about this because in college, I wrote a bunch of papers about terrorism. I wrote papers about what would happen again when it comes to terrorism, and I was tasked with writing about Al Qaeda.
Yeah,
and I theorized that they would go back to the World Trade Center and try it again. I remember getting a mediocre grade. I got like a B- on that paper, and I remember the professor saying, "Terrorists never go back to the scene of the crime. They never do it twice." And if you remember, Al Qaeda blew up a car bomb in the parking garage underneath the World Trade Center. And I argued in this paper, which, by the way, my degree is in political science, public policy. There was an emphasis of terrorism on a lot of what I did. And I argued back and forth with my professor saying, no, they're going to go back.
Yeah.
Like, that is the prime target. He gave me like a B. He just said that it was unoriginal because they don't go back. Well, anyway, it happened. I was a reporter at KBB at the time. And I interviewed my professor. and I was on air on 9/11, and I interviewed my professor, who was quote unquote the terrorism expert. And when I walked in his door, I was already a graduate, right, of UTSA. I walked into his door, and he looked at me and he said, "Michael, I wish I could regrade your paper." He knew my paper. He knew saying that they were going to go back. He goes, "I'd give you an A+ at this point because I'm going back," and all that stuff. So anyway, I remember where I was on 9/11. I was the second journalist, not the first, but I was the second journalist allowed inside the Pentagon after the renovations, and there were a bunch of Honduran immigrants who rebuilt the Pentagon, and I was on site over there. I was reporting for KBB at the time for Sinclair Broadcasting, so I have that was part of it. My cousin Andy, firefighter in Los Angeles, volunteered his time to go help with the efforts in New York. Now he for a little while he was at Ground Zero, but he basically manned some of the other firehouses over there so that their people could go out and search for their missing co-workers and whatnot. 9/11 is something that we'll never forget. We should never forget, and it's something that should bring us all together. I'm glad to see that today, during the 9/11 memorial that happened there in Manhattan, New York, Mayor Bloomberg managed to get former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris together and have them stand essentially 5 feet from each other during the whole ceremony. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, I remember where I was at. I was forced to take vacation during that time. That was actually the first day of my vacation.
Oh, okay.
Official start of my vacation, because I had been working at Citibank over here, way down Petrenko, when there was nothing out there. And I remember my boss had said, "Hey, you have to come in and pick up your check," because that's how they used to pay us back then. They would give you an actual paper check, She's, "Oh, your check is here. You forgot to get it on over the weekend," because I had already started my vacation. I'm like, "Oh yeah," she knew I was in town finally. I guess she's like, "Come pick up your check." So I was like, "Okay." I had my son with me at the time. He was young, very young. He was like maybe 5 years old, maybe 4 years old. And I remember putting him in the truck, and I'm like, "We're gonna go get the check, and we'll go deposit it and go about our day." And as I turn on the radio and I'm, going down the road here on Petrenko, I was listening to 99.5 KISS, right?
Yeah.
And I was listening to the great John Lyle and Steve Hahn. And they were making reports, and they're like, we can't confirm this yet, but there's a report that a plane has crashed into the Pentagon. And they're like, we're still getting information coming in. We'll let you all know, but that's what's being reported right now. And as I got closer and closer to Citibank, they were still kind of talking about that and what was going on. And as I finally park, finally find parking, get my son down, walk over there to the building, my boss comes frantically, gives me the check, and she's like, "Did you see what's happening? Did you see what's going on?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I just parked my truck and walked over here." She's like, "We're under attack. The plane just crashed into the World Trade Center." So I remember getting my son at that time. I didn't even get to the bank. I just went straight home, see what's going on, what the heck's happening. So I get home, because it's not that far of a drive, right?
Right.
I turn on the TV, and then you see that second plane hitting, and then they're like, "We're under attack," and that's where we just stayed home the rest of the day, kind of watched TV, and was just like the rest of us, watching in awe of what was happening, because you're seeing these people who are moms, who are, somebody's sister, somebody's brother, fathers, and they're jumping from the building because it's on fire.
Right, they're burning.
And you're just like, wow.
And the History Channel usually on this day will run 24 hours about 9/11, and it's like the stories behind the victims, the heroes that were there, and the devastating things where they say, "Hey, viewer discretion is advised," because you hear the pounding of bodies hitting the ground because they're literally burning, and they decided to just simply jump at that point. Crazy what happened there. And 9/11 is something that we should always remember, and it's something that should unite us. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it divided us because there was a lot of animosity towards the Muslim community, which was not right.
No.
And so a lot of people right now are reliving their things that happened, their memories of it all. Sam Salinas saying he graduated from UTSA with a guy who was an NYPD first responder and that worked ground zero afterwards. Felt bad for him because 10 years later, the things he saw still affected him. It's just something you'll never forget. I mean, you do. And then all those firefighters who ended up getting sick because of
all the dust and stuff,
and whatnot.
Man.
And then Congress refused to take care of them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got cancer. They had lung problems the rest of their days. I mean, you just saw what happened in the aftermath because these buildings were built way back when. Codes were different. There was all sorts of asbestos and all sorts of stuff in those buildings. And all that, when it finally collapsed, just that cloud of debris and, stuff that was cast all over the place. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was horrible. It took them a long time, and they were still looking. Remember, after the time that the towers did collapse, they had the first responders on scene, and they were looking for survivors. Remember, they had the dogs there and everything, man.
You know what's creepy is watching old movies about New York.
Oh, I know,
and they do the
dude.
Skyline, and you see the two buildings there, knowing that they're not there.
Yeah,
it's creepy. My ex-wife and I, we went up and down the channel there in New York while they were rebuilding Freedom Tower.
Yeah,
and it was kind of an eerie thing, man. They once you get close to that site, they turn the music off. So you're a couple of miles away, and they're blasting Alicia Keys and Jay-Z. Concrete Jungle, Where Dreams Are Made Of, and then they get close to the site. And in reverence, they turn it down. Hey, real fast, you want to show my screen?
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about with my daughter. My daughter, I found one of her columns, or one of her articles, rather, talking about tropical storm, Hurricane Francine, hitting the capital region. Articles written by, there's her name right there, Gabby Jimenez. If you ever want to see her articles, you can just type in Google Gabby Jimenez, The Advocate, and you'll see all of her stories. See, a lot of them are crime-related. But they have her right now on hurricane duty.
Yeah.
So very, very, very happy for her. Which is sad because her mini vacation's supposed to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We'll see what happens.
So you can be in the eye of the storm.
It did drift to the east.
Yeah.
The storm will clear out by sometime at the end of the day today. So it's not a slow-moving storm.
Yeah.
It's going to go through pretty quickly.
What is it? Is it still a hurricane or a tropical storm?
It's still
now?
a hurricane. I believe it's Category 1 right now.
Okay.
And my daughter, I took her to iFly a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, the wind's about iFly level down.
Oh, man. Because she's a little petite thing, man. She could fly away.
Exactly. I told her to be careful. She's at the news station right now. She's at the newspaper headquarters. But again, it's going to hit apparently somewhere around 1 o'clock today. Dave Grohl.
Oh, man. You want to hit the entertainment bump?
Yeah.
We have to pour some out for the great David Grohl.
The nicest guy in rock and roll, Dave Grohl, formerly of the iconic band Nirvana, frontman for the Foo Fighters, one of the greatest rock bands of all time, apparently had a baby out of wedlock. And he released a statement on social media yesterday that said, quote, I've recently become a father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children, and I'm doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration toward all of the children involved as we move forward together. Signed, Dave Grohl.
But he doesn't mention who the baby mama is. I'm probably sure that he wants to protect the identity of everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, here's a photo of Dave Grohl and his family.
Jeez,
his wife and 3 daughters, and now he has daughter number 4.
He's going to have, I mean, when you have daughters, it's different. The daughters are very loyal to the family, especially the mother.
Right.
And then you do this, everybody mad at you in the house, man.
Now, Dave's been married for 21 years. Has 3 daughters, one named Violet, who's 18, Harper, who's 15, and Ophelia is 10. And, this is something where, he got caught. Not only did he get caught, he had a baby in the process. And I saw the Foo Fighters in concert over at Jazz Fest in New Orleans earlier this year, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah.
It's not like other musicians don't get caught doing this or get in trouble having kids out of wedlock. It's just one of those things that Dave Grohl just happens to be one of the nicer guys of rock and roll. He's like the elder statesman of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I think that most other rock stars out there just wouldn't care. But I think he does. I think he does care about his image in a way that it's a relatively fun, wholesome. Not that he's wholesome, because he's been adamant that he's been an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That he's been a drug user. But at the same time, it was like
He'd been doing the cochinos.
He was the fun guy doing it.
Yeah.
He wasn't destroying hotel rooms. He was just the fun guy who got stoned. He gave off those vibes.
But I think this is him getting ahead of the story.
Yeah.
Because probably what's happening is that other outlets had access to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure maybe we'll hear sooner or later. Maybe somebody tried to extort him.
Yeah.
If you don't pay, we're going to release this story. And he's like, you know what?
Let me just go ahead and do it.
Let me do it. Why am I going to hide? It's better. And it is better for him and his family if he just comes out right and releases the story himself. And eventually he'll be forgiven and he can move on. Yes, this is kind of a blemish on his career. But what's going to happen eventually is that people will learn to forgive him and they're going to move on.
Yeah.
Are
people going to forgive Justin Timberlake, who pulled the "Do you know who I am" card when he got arrested for DUI?
Was he showing W-2s?
This exclusive article, which was released 8 minutes ago by TMZ, says that he just had a plea deal made to a lesser charge, so he's not going to be he's not going to have a DUI on his record, but it's going to be a traffic violation instead. It's going to have a fine of about $300 to $500, which he probably makes every second of the day. Other stories of today: Taylor Swift making news again.
Oh, Taylor, man, your favorite.
She made an endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris last night after the debate. Immediately after the debate, dropping that endorsement. This was something that the Harris campaign really, really wanted. To me, it's like it's a big deal, but it's no big deal. It's like everyone knew that that's who she supported, right? Because if you saw her Americana documentary that was on Netflix, she all but said that she hated Trump, right? So I don't think this is coming out of left field. But the question is it right for her to do this, or is it something that's going to backfire for her, or does she even care, Joe?
I don't think she cares either way. I mean, she's a billionaire. Why should it matter what everybody else thinks of her?
Yeah, do you get the feeling that she's entered the part of her life where she's like, I don't care?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, Caitlin Clark may have some explaining to do to the conservatives there in Indiana, because it appears that she is supporting Kamala Harris too, in a way. Caitlin Clark, WNBA superstar, the second that Taylor Swift made her post on Instagram, which, by the way, she said signed Single Cat Lady, Caitlin Clark was quick to hit the like button. And people are pointing out the fact that Caitlin Clark, number 22 for Indiana Fever, not only follows Taylor Swift, but also liked that particular post. Do you think Caitlin Clark's going to get in trouble?
Nah. You'll have a lot of people backing her up too, But I mean, that's the thing, is at this time of year, you have friendships end. You get people that get really divided over your political stance. It's odd, It's like you can be best friends. You're 20 years, knowing somebody for 20 years.
It happened to me.
And then all of a sudden, you like who? Oh, that's it. I'm done with you.
It happened to me.
Like,
Me and my friend Eric reconnected after a couple of years, because we would spar with each other on politics and it got personal. We had to reunite and get better.
Man.
But it's just one of those things. I mean, marriages get ruined. I mean, I've talked about it before. I've been
relationships.
I've been single again. Go on those dating sites, and you know what they say on those dating sites? Those girls on there, if you're a Trump supporter, do not like my photo. Do not send me a request. Do not care. And there's a divide right now. It used to be like a racial divide.
Yeah.
There's a divide between the sexes right now when it comes to things, and that's going to determine who wins in November. That's for sure. Take a look at Vegas Insider right now. Also on ESPN.com. You were showing me this earlier.
Yeah.
The favorite to win the 2024 Heisman Trophy, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
quarterback of the Texas Longhorns.
Let me get the graphic up. I got half of there, so I'll go ahead and start getting that ready to go. I forget that every time I bring Jeff on, this happens. So let me go ahead and get his stuff off here. All right, there we are. We're ready to go now. Ready to rock.
All right, let's see what you got.
There we go. So this is what has been reported by College Football Report. Heisman odds following week number 2 per FanDuel. Quinn Ewers plus 500.
Cam Ward of Miami, 750, right?
750. You got Carson Beck plus 850, man.
Carson Beck of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's quarterback, basically.
Yeah. And there goes it's showing you the odds right there. But Quinn Ewers, man.
Plus 500.
Plus
I like
500,
it.
man.
I like it. 5-1 odds. Because, okay, here's the thing, though. Texas plays Georgia next month.
That's going to be the battle, could be the battle for number 1.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to it, dude. Texas Longhorns are a legit team, man. They pillaged the transfer portal. They got the wide receivers they needed. They've got some pretty decent offensive linemen. Their defense is legit. Dude, the Texas Longhorns are going to have a fantastic year this year. Or am I jinxing them? This weekend, September 14th, they've got the UTSA Roadrunners going on over there. 6 p.m. kickoff there at DKR. After that, they've got an easy game against Louisiana Monroe. Then they kick off the SEC schedule for the first time. Again, their inaugural season in the SEC. Take it on Mississippi State. Then they've got a week to prepare for Oklahoma. After that, Georgia comes to town. Can you imagine if it's number 1 versus number 2? That would be the biggest game probably in Texas history at that point. Regular season history.
Yeah,
I'm not talking
season.
about, national championship games. But if it's a 1 and 2 between Georgia and Texas on October 19th, that would be incredible.
Speaking of big games, look at what happened with the ratings with Texas and Michigan. Front Office Sports is reporting that the average viewers on Fox at that point in time was 9.35 million viewers.
Wow.
The most watched college football game of the 2024 season so far. It's a lot of people watching this game.
Got some reports coming in from Bleacher Report right now, if you want to show my screen.
Sure.
For those of you who drafted Christian McCaffrey number 1 overall in your fantasy draft, you're going to keep him on the bench one more time because Christian McCaffrey will not play versus the Minnesota Vikings, according to Adam Schefter.
Man. He's going to be out again, so if you got him in fantasy draft, you're hurting, man. You're going to be hurting.
And there was a release. See, Deshaun Watson was accused by another woman of sexual misconduct.
Jeez.
So, Attorney Rusty Hardin, this is according to a statement from Attorney Rusty Hardin, who represents Deshaun Watson. By the way, the NFL has said that they're not going to suspend Deshaun Watson this time. When the more than 20 accusations came out, they sat his ass down. Watson's attorney comes out and says, Deshaun strongly denies the allegations in the Jane Doe lawsuit filed on Monday. We have asked him not to comment further while this matter works its way through the courts, but we are comfortable he will ultimately be vindicated. We will be ready to defend this case in court at the appropriate time, but don't intend to conduct our defense in the media. We would ask that people be patient while the legal process runs its course. In the meantime, Deshaun is going to focus his energy and concentration on football. That's according to Rusty Hardin, attorney for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, again, accused again of sexual misconduct. Again, that could mean a whole host of things, but I was on Cleveland's newspaper last night reading about this, and everyone there is they're going, why did we get rid of Baker?
Exactly, man. It's like that was probably going to be the biggest mistake for the Browns in their franchise history, man. They should have just kept Baker. But Baker wasn't really the problem. It was he didn't have nobody to throw to. He didn't have a very good team. So that was part of the issue. And then they have to have a scapegoat, right? Why they didn't make the playoffs or why they get bounced or what have you. I always pointed to Baker,
Tyreek Hill's asking Miami-Dade police to fire the officer who dragged him out of the
Well, you know what, guy? Don't be a jackass and roll up the window and resist, what's he thinking, man? And that's funny to me that the news outlets, and I'm not trying to pick sides, but I'm showing, if you want to show the full story, show the full story. They only show the cops getting him, bringing him out of the car, but they don't show what led up to that.
Right.
They omit that. But they show everything else.
Texas State, put up D'Lo's comment right there.
Yeah.
D'Lo saying that they're playing Arizona State in San Marcos Thursday night on ESPN. Arizona State favored by just 1.5 over under 59.5. Asking the question, Texas State wins this game and goes 3-0. Do they make the top 25? I can see it. They'll be getting votes at that point. I can see it. I'm excited about that, man. Dude, they're playing so well. Beat the living crap out of UTSA. People blaming me, saying that I'm the jinx. Get the hell out of here.
You know, we do have a segment that I do want to play here as we start bringing the show to an end. We still got a couple minutes to go, but we're going to kill a couple minutes here as we play a segment that I recorded with our good friend, B. Damone from Along the Wire. Along the Wire is one of the outlets here that gives you the best high school football coverage here in the Alamo City. So I talked with my good friend, and I help produce his show that comes out every week. So we're going to go ahead and play the segment and give you the skinny on what's going to be happening in our own backyard when it comes to high school football. This is Joe with the Alamo City Sportscast. I'm going to be having a guest on right now, and that's going to be B. Damone from Along the Wire. He's going to go and give us the skinny on the matchups that we need to be watching out for this weekend when it comes to high school football. Go ahead and let us know, man. What's going on, B. Damone?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me on, man. So there are two of the most exciting matchups that you can possibly make, and it's great when the schedule just so happens to fall and these games are on the same day, same weekend. So y'all have got a decision to make. Those games are 6A matchup, Cibolo Steel versus Brandeis, and 5A number 1 in San Antonio versus 4A number 1 in San Antonio, Piper versus Davenport. Davenport and Piper are in the same district, just at different levels, but they're both number 1. So this is going to be a rivalry game that's going to give you a lot of excitement. So let's talk about that one first. You got undefeated Davenport and undefeated Piper at 2-0 each. You got Piper having Isaiah Champagne, Caden Keith, Thor Michael Buss. They've got talent all over the field and playing an exciting brand of football. Coach Rogers has got those guys going, and in just their 5th year, they're number 1 in the city in 5A. Number 1 in the city in 5A. They beat Alamo Heights last year. Now they're going up against Davenport, a team that I had winning state last year, and they return a lot of talent. Coach Zimmerhansels got Barrett Fallon, Dante Singleton, and Daniel Suckup. So it's going to be an incredible matchup, and I will be there on the field for that game. Now, moving on to Steele versus Brandeis. You've got state powerhouse, national powerhouse Steele with Chad Warner, Julian Hugo, Jonathan Haddon, all these names, right? Coach Sign has got this team primed to win state. Going up against Brandeis, a city powerhouse school that has had a lot of turnover, a lot of change, but they continue to be a program that wins. So now they have Coach Lewis in there, and they've got a new quarterback in Winter Smith. This is a 2027 kid who looks really good and promising. They've also got Jalen Baker at receiver. He's a senior, and they've got Darren Hall in the secondary. So they've got leaders all over that defense. Both of these programs are undefeated, and they're 1-2 in 6A. I'm sorry, 1-3. 1-3. Forgive me. 1-3 in 6A. So this is number 1 versus number 3. When Steele just beat number 2 Reagan last week. So this is their second top 5 matchup in a row. But a program like Steele, you would expect them to be able to take on this task. And that's why I'm going over to the Davenport game, because I feel like I don't know what's going to happen in that one. And that's a lot of new blood in the San Antonio area. So it's going to be a very exciting matchup. A lot of offense, great defense, entertaining football from the kickoff to the clock hits triple zeros and the games are over. So the games of the week: Steele versus Brandeis, and that game's going to be at Ferris. And then you got Davenport versus Piper, and that's going to be at Davenport High School.
Yeah, and then, so those are some marquee matchups, man. Is there anybody that we need to keep an eye on as far as some of these players in these games that might be making it up to the collegiate level here soon?
College level, you're definitely going to want to go to the Steel game. If you want to go see those guys who are going to be playing at Steel, they've got guys who are committed to SMU, Oklahoma State, UTEP. But yeah, so if you want to see future NFL and college prospects, you're going to want to go to the Brandeis versus Steel game for sure. Winter Smith is a kid that you're going to be seeing. He's a good sized kid. And has a really good arm, and he works out and he does everything that he needs to do to get to that next level. As well as Darren Hall, who is also going to college at Fordham, and it's going to be some real talent over there. So if you're looking for NFL talent and college talent, you're going to want to go to the Steel Brandeis team.
There you go, man. You heard it from the man himself, B. Damone. You can go ahead and follow him along the wire. Over at YouTube and also on the Twitter, on the X now. As you can see, we put the handles up there, and it's not just B. Damone that does Along the Wire, also Coach Gomez, so you can go ahead and follow him at STX7V7, and B. Damone, you can follow him at B. Damone on the X. So thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you. You got anything coming up for this new episode this coming week for Along the Wire?
Hey, it's going to be an exciting episode because once these games go down, it's going to be tons of content to have. So this is a pivotal week when it comes to recruiting as well. The first 3 games, and that's going to be a topic now that we're talking about it. That's going to be a topic. Who impressed the most in these first 3 games? Because colleges look at the first 3 games of the following season for the classes that are coming up. So all you juniors and sophomores getting that varsity tape, these are the games. And the seniors, the first 3 games are trying to see if you are kind of on the edge, if you've taken that next step and can get that college offer.
Well, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you all. We'll talk to you next week so you can go and give us some more information when it comes to these matchups and these players regarding high school football. So you're the best in the business here. Make sure you go and follow Along the Wire. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, so that was our segment for high school football, and I saw everybody's comments. I'm gonna let my boy B. Damone know about this. It's pretty funny, man. Kimbo Slice's twin knows college football. He's talking high school football, man. And look at this. Wow, look at the bling on that vato. He looks like Kimbo Slice, and then they put Karl Malone knows ball.
Carl never wore bling.
Carol never wore bling.
Can't unsee Karl Malone.
Oh, and then Mario Cavazos, Warren High School football, no vale. He goes, been going to watch my daughter perform at halftime. Pour some out for Warren, bro.
Very nice.
So we're just going to kind of like, switch things up a little bit and bring some other content here that's local to the area. High school football, man.
That's cool. I see your MCS hat right there.
Yeah.
Love this MCS General Contracting. They do the best job in town when it comes to concrete placement. I'm a client myself. Let's give them some love.
Yeah. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Very nice. As I mentioned, I am a client. They do a fantastic job. And Joe, we learned a lot today, my man. We learned a lot today. We thank you so much to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs for being on. He says keep an eye on his Twitter and threads for the rest of the week. I'm excited about that Comic-Con coming in October, dude.
Oh, definitely, man.
I want to go check that out. By the way, if you want to show me some love, keep me in business, my phone number is 210-508-0369. I've been doing investments and insurances for 19 years. Send me a referral, man. If you need help with rolling over an account, old 401k. If you have an existing IRA and you're like, hey, I don't like my advisor, I want to work with somebody else, give me a call. Life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care. That's what I do, 210-508-0369. Joe, I got to go sling some investments and insurances.
Yeah, man. Got to get started here at my federale job, too.
There you go. Friday, I'll be doing the show on remotes, also on Monday as well, so we'll figure that out. Everyone have a fantastic day, and for those of you who have friends or family or loved ones in Louisiana, pray for them because that storm is a-coming. Gabby Girl doing a fantastic job reporting out there for The Advocate, the newspaper there in Baton Rouge. I'm very, very proud. Everyone have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow.